Question. If you had just $5 to make dinner for 2 to 3 people in your household, what would you do? Let's talk about this back in a minute. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, Save Money and More with Jan channel. How you doing today? Let's jump right into it. If you had just $5, because payday is maybe in a day or so later, and sometimes people live paycheck to paycheck. Many people do, right? So this is no exception in many, many cases. If you had $5, what would you do? Let me know that in the comment section below. Thank you so much. But I'll let you know what I would do. And before I get into it, don't forget to smash down the like button. And if you have not subscribed, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Listen, here's what I would do. And it makes a lot of sense. Number one, the first thing I would do is try not to touch the $5. What? What are you talking about, Jan? You just said there's only $5 to make a meal for 2 to 3 people. That's right. There's $5 left to make a meal for 2 to 3 people. But does that mean I need to spend it? Now that is different. Yes, yes, and yes. First thing I would do is I would walk around my home, my pantry, my freezer, my refrigerator to see what is in there. A lot of people don't tap into enough on their meal potential with the stuff that they already have. Right away, people think, oh, I have to run to the grocery store and on purpose spend my last $5 until payday. Not necessarily. Sometimes it pays to open the freezer and take a look at what you have. You might be shocked. You might be shocked and find that cooked chicken leg that you put in there a month ago is in there wrapped up nicely. What could you do? You could make a soup. You could chop it into small pieces and add it to an existing, let's say, soup mix or just some bouillon cubes, which hopefully you might have already in your pantry. You see where I'm going with this. Then you continue on throughout your refrigerator. You have, half of an onion. Well, not much you could do with that. Not true. Uh, 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 You could cut that up and you could saute it with butter as its own little sort of onion side dish. Or you could find out how to make onion rings out of that if you have enough of it. Or just use it in the recipe that you're working with that you're coming up. Then you realize the light bulb goes off in your head. Whoa, 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 whoa. And you find that you have a couple of cups of flour in there. Could you make something with that flour? Chances are probably yes, you can. Okay. So you're looking around. Then you go into your longer term stockpile. And you say, boy, Janet was right. It's good to put things away for you never know when. Exactly. Especially if you have just $5 left. Okay. So you may find a canned item or two and somehow put it together. And if you're in doubt, you can always throw it together as a soup or a casserole or a stew. Okay, so the number one thing first that I would do before heading off to the store, I would absolutely look around first. What do I have? And make the best of it. It doesn't have to be in a matching order, like let's say, considered a quote, end of quote, normal traditional meal. This is you trying to stretch a few bucks and making sure your family has something to eat. That's the priority there. Even if you just have some peanut butter and bread left over, you can have, peanut butter sandwiches, for example, and perhaps maybe you have some fruit. You see where I'm going with this. All right. So, number one course of action is to look around and see what you could do with the stuff you already have. That's number one. That's what I would do first. The next thing I would do if there wasn't anything around, which I can't imagine that there wouldn't be, but let's pretend that there wasn't anything around, was nothing left. Then what would I do? I would head first, okay? I would head first to look around and find out what is on sale in my local store. What is on sale that I could put together? Okay. But if you don't want to do that, you could always go to, let's say, a Dollar Tree type store where you already know the price in advance of the stuff you're going to get. And here's a good outline meal if you want to think about it. Okay. Now, you could buy something in a can, for example, that has tons of nutrition in it. Like maybe it may not be the healthiest thing, it may not be, but as something to get you through. You see where I'm going with that? Let's say, for example, maybe you could find a nice can of chili, the one that has the meat in it. So I would consider this is what I would do. Again, everybody's different, everybody's taste is different, but this makes the most sense. Buy a canned item that has a lot of protein in it. Let's just say in this case, it would be a can of chili. Okay. So one can of chili, perhaps a box of macaroni and cheese, the kind that's all together. You don't have to add anything to it. You just cook it up, follow the directions, everything is in there. When it gets like that and you have like a small amount of money to work with, buying the things that have already things all together is a lot cheaper than trying to buy things in a separate manner. You see, that seems to work. So if you enjoy macaroni and cheese like that, and who knows, maybe you still have some of that pasta left at home and maybe you could come up with your own macaroni and cheese at home. All right. So can of chili, macaroni and cheese, and then do you enjoy salad? Okay? Again, that's up to you. Do you enjoy it or not? All right. Well, perhaps you might luck out, okay, and find a nice cucumber on sale, delicious fresh cucumber, refreshing. And if you enjoy salad, something simple, perhaps you might get a Roma tomato or whatever tomato is on sale. Usually, from my experience, Roma tomatoes seem to be the one that seems to always be lesser price, Roma tomato. But you might find some other kind of tomato that happens to be on sale. Look around. That is what you are there for. Remember, you're trying to stretch $5 to make a meal to be shared with a couple of people. Okay, so that's, take that minute to look around. And sometimes you might even get really, really lucky and be able to get all of those things and still have like $1.25 left. Okay, what would you do with that? Would you buy a dessert with that? I'll tell you what I would do. I would get some of those inexpensive sandwich cookies, the kind like this, maybe 3 or 4 in a row, different ones, chocolate. They look like Oreos. Sometimes I think they call them Duplex. Duplex might be the name of it. This is not a sponsored ad by any of these companies. I am just mentioning it. All right. So there you go. You got yourself a dinner there. You got yourself a dinner and you got yourself some dessert. Might even just want to stretch it. For example, if there's 2 nights before payday, then maybe just go half on that can of chili and have half macaroni and cheese and half chili and put it together. If you don't like that at all, maybe just rather get a couple of baked potatoes and stuff them up with frozen broccoli. Do you have any broccoli in your freezer? Remember what I said at the beginning of this show. Look around first. That's the first thing you're going to do. The very, very first thing that you're going to do. Look around first. This is why when times are a little better and more money is in your wallet, that's the time to make sure you have save a little bit of this, look a little bit ahead to that, to avoid those tight days. And this happens. I mean, this happens to even the best of people. So I just thought I'd give you a couple of ideas there, and I really hope that I help somebody. But we need to do? We need to do more like this lady does. If it works. Yeah. Anyway, I really and truly hope that I help someone figure out something to eat for tonight. And I wish everyone the absolute best. Thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate everybody's time. Don't forget to come back in the future for a next show. Have a great day. Now, remember, if this cuts off too slowly, just you cut it off. You don't have to wait.